I dance the night away to the beat of bombs colliding with the ground. I plead to God all day in the ashen silence of tomorrow. Allegory and symbolism. So abstract, yet all of our art is riddled with it. Everything is more than it meets the eye. We created disciplines, wrote books, spent years learning the craft of the deeper meaning. But what did we actually learn? As I ponder my life's choices of investing my youth into the academic arena of art analysis, I am often faced with the dubious nature of our human experience. What is the meaning of it all? What is the truth? How do I find it? And I always go back to one of my favorite films to seek this answer, Rashomon. See, I believe there is not much to add to the discussion of the film itself, since it was made in the 1950s and all imaginable reviews, analyses, and theories have been written, reviewed, and crafted. But I want to look at this film from a contemporary perspective and make myself feel a little less hopeless in the process. Akira Kurosawa is considered one of the best filmmakers ever. In an interview with Andrei Tarkovsky, who coincidentally is also sharing this title, the Russian director said that he could count the people who have mastered the art of cinema only on one hand, and, in his opinion, Kurosawa was one of them. I could talk about the Japanese director's amazing framing, intricate narrative construction, which even garnered a separate title of its own, the Rashomon effect, and other numerous praises that Kurosawa has rightfully so achieved. But I want to explore the emotional themes of Rashomon and why this has become the film that, in my most nihilistic episodes full of depression, dread, and despair, has helped me to maintain some idealistic sense of hope for the future of tomorrow. And what would be a better time to talk about the future than in the present of World War III? And so I dance the night away to the beat of bombs colliding with the ground. I plead to God all day in the ashen silence of tomorrow. The symbolism of Rashomon, the film and the setting of the stage, was somewhat clear to the Japanese audiences who, in 1950, went to see this film. After experiencing the tragedy of having not one but two atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, cities where citizens, including women and children, were hiding from the war, has left a collective sense of trauma. The country was experiencing not only economic and political turmoil, but they were also faced with a crisis of their dignity and selfhood. The persistent motif in the film is quite explicit: the human condition, or more precisely, the idea that humanity's experientiality is universal. But there's also the permanent dread of despair and hopelessness, as echoed by the Buddhist monk in the ruins of a once great capital of Kyoto. No hope, no trust, no salvation for what humans are capable of. To them, the wrecked totem of the dignified and respected Edo period was a symbol of their own defeat. As stated by James F. Davidson, it would be foolish to argue that the film is a complete or consistent allegory. Much of the perplexity can be avoided by recognizing the implications of the Japanese audience, intermediate between the basic story and the more universal meaning. That is why now, amidst panic and despair, when faced with a boiling war in Ukraine, we, as a collective, can reflect on these universal ideas and emotions. What is intriguing about Rashomon, at least to me, is not the purposefully convoluted web of lies, meticulously constructed by the characters, but it's actually the crying child at the end of the film that I want to bring the attention to. On first glance, it has nothing to do with the events that we have just witnessed. The first time I've watched the film, the scene left me scratching my head and thinking, what the hell was that about? But now that I have grown older, wiser, and have since learned more about the world around me, I have come to interpret it as a sign of hope, as many other academics and critics have done so in the past as well, apparently. Just like the film is clouded in doubt, treachery, and highlights the most awful characteristics of the human condition, both literal and symbolic, in the end, it offers hope, this esoteric, void of any logical explanation sense of hope. As the rain stops, the clouds disperse, and the previously mutilated symbol of greatness shines again, this bundle of innocence is spared. We see a brighter tomorrow right before our eyes. And now, as I am faced with the existential dread and the impending feeling of doom that me and everyone I have ever loved might perish in another nuclear catastrophe, I am reminded that as long as I am human, I have hope. Because what is hope if not the other side of the coin that is the duality of the human condition? And as I danced the night away to the beat of bombs colliding with the ground, I hoped of peace today and the ashen silence of tomorrow.